got a slow puncture and it's super noisy, it's very windy, and I'm very sorry if you cannot hear me very well, but I had a spare 5 minutes, so I thought it would be a good time to answer a question that was left in the comments on one of my other videos. So I'm sorry if the Wi-Fi drops out or if this doesn't work, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. So the question, I'm going to sort of talk through it as we go. So it starts by saying, my resident cat refuses to accept the fairly new stray that has no interest in playing and has no interest in playing with him. So essentially there's the resident cat and this lady, I presume it's a lady, I might be wrong, this person has taken on a stray basically, and his or her resident cat is not accepting them. He doesn't respect her boundaries, and then she reacts, so presumably she's responding aggressively to his behaviour. And voila, there are chunks of hair on the floor and in his mouth. So first things to think about there is that you've put he's a relatively new stray. So it sounds like it's still early days. So I would just bear in mind that these things do take time and they need to get to know each other a little bit and learn about each other's behaviour. So don't panic at this point, and hopefully as time goes on, they will reach a point where they're happy to share the territory without issue. Also, he's an ex-stray, so basically, like, all strays are different and there's no sort of general rules, but what I tend to find is that cats that are stray have had certain experiences that non-strays haven't. So presumably he would have been fighting with some other cats at some point. I would expect that to be the case, like other stray cats or other cats in the neighbourhood. Just by like law of average, he would have encountered more cats and there's more chance for him to have been fighting. So that experience will stay with him, and then he may be less tolerant of other cats and more like experienced with fighting, I guess. So you might find that he's more up for that and he's more like, he doesn't shy away from a fight basically. So just bear that in mind, that he might be more predisposed to fighting than others. Also, he would have been hunting, I imagine, for his survival when he was stray, unless he was getting food provided somewhere by a person, or scavenging. So he's going to have more of that hunter mentality and like hunter behavior. So he's going to lead a lot of stimulation because he's used to expending a lot of energy and using a lot of energy day to day. So let's go back to the question, because I know you've talked about his getting him stimulated as well. So since her arrival, oh, okay, so is it the female that's a stray? Sorry if I've got that wrong. But since the stray's arrival, there's maybe one toy he'll go crazy for, but lots of toys provided, even rotated from novelty. He has zero interest in playtime with me. He just wants to play with her. She's now withdrawn, pussyfoots around, he pussyfoots too, and he attacks her at all 3 list trays. So yes, if he's been a stray, then he is going to have he's going to need a lot of stimulation. So the best way to get them stimulated is for you to join in the play. So obviously you've said that he goes mad for a one toy, and one toys do mean that we have to get them going. So that's probably a good sign that he likes to play with you, and he likes it when you move the toys around for him, because if he's got toys lying around on the floor, they're essentially dead prey, and he's not going to pay much interest or any interest in them. So get the toys moving. And I would also say, if you haven't already, to get a variety of toys that appeal to different sort of like parts of the hunting sequence. So you might want something that he can bite down on. So like a stuffed mouse, something a bit small that he can like grab and bite and actually bite down into. So like a ping pong ball is fun because you can fling it around and he can chase it. So that bit's fun. But then when it comes to biting, you can't really bite down on a ping pong ball. So like a variety of toys that allow for chasing, and some for biting, and some for like kicking and grabbing, and all those things can really be helpful. And vary the toys in terms of their like characteristics as well, if that makes sense. So you want things of different textures, things that smell different, so maybe introduce some catnip if you haven't already, or valerian, try something a bit different. And different sounds as well, so crinkly things with bells, things that squeak, and see if you can find something that he absolutely loves, and like you are doing, keep them on rotation. So that sounds good as well. I would also introduce some activity feeding if you're not already, so put all of his food in activity feeders if you can, and again think about how the different feeders appeal to different things. So I like just the ball, like a round ball with food in, with holes in, because they can chase it, they can pounce on it, and it really uses up a lot of energy compared to like a maze or like a slow feeder that's like a stationary bowl and they just have to work to get the treats out, which is also good, but doesn't really allow for as much stimulation as some of the others. So you can think about that as well. I'm not sure how you're feeding them at the moment, but I know you've mentioned, my screen has gone off, but you mentioned about their feeding as well, that he sometimes, well, there's sometimes problems around food, if I've got that right. So I would, it's not my place to advise what to feed, but you might want to think about how you're feeding. So sometimes if there's a long period of time going past with no food, sometimes they can get a bit hangry, and it's like surrounding food, there's sometimes a lot of aggression. So either that's to do with like the competition for food, especially where he's been astray, he might feel like she's competition and doesn't want to share. And that might cause them to show aggression sometimes. Or you might find that actually it's the anticipation of food, so like it's almost here, it's almost coming, and that like raised emotion can sometimes be redirected at other cats. So sometimes they can be quite frustrated if you're not quick enough, and this can result in like hissing or swiping or just chasing, like a little just higher, like emotions running high when it's almost mealtime. So yeah, let me just bring my screen back up, hang on. Sorry. Okay, what else have we put? Oh yes, okay, so you've got enrichment galore. He loves hiding in tunnels, but the resident cat interprets hiding places as equivalent to playing hide and seek. So there's so much energy and he sleeps less than the average cat. So essentially, when you're talking about territory and enrichment, then that's fab, and it's great that you've got enrichment in place. But I would think about how the territory is set up as well. So note that you've got 3 litter trays, which is fab for a 2-cat household, but where are they located? Are they in separate places? Because if she's blocking access, or if he's blocking access, then you want to make sure there's one in a completely different part of your home that they can think, oh, okay, fine, I can't get to that one, but I can get to another one. So like the way it's all set up can be helpful as well. And also I would think about making the most of the territory that you've got as well. So like putting in high places can really be helpful to like open up the space and unlock all that territory that's going to waste at the top of the room. And sometimes, although that in theory both cats can get to all places, providing some like high shelves and high resting areas you might find that one cat gravitates up high and the other cat gravitates down low, and then they're essentially sharing the same space but without any issues. So just giving those options and giving them the opportunity to create their separate territories within the same place can really be helpful. But like I said, it's still early days. I would focus a lot on redirection if you can. I know that's hard, and if it's really impossible and you find it's relentless, then maybe they could do with some time apart sometimes, if that works. Like sometimes if you try and separate cats, you just get them clawing at the door, don't you, going, please can I come back out? But just making sure that your resident cat does have some space and some time where she can just rest and switch off without worrying about what that other cat's up to and maybe being pounced on or disturbed. But I hope that was helpful. Sorry, it's such a random place to do a live, but let me know if you've got any more questions, and have a lovely weekend and take care, and I will see you again. Bye.